My name's Saad. I'm from the UK and I studied gemology and jewellery studies in 2018 till 2022. And at the time, I went into this degree looking for more knowledge to provide me expertise in really buying and selling gemstones, rough and cut stones. Now, the degree provided a lot of knowledge and information in regards to identification, treatments, and it geared more towards the academic route. We in the third year and second year, we did a lot of laboratory work in terms of using, machinery like the FTIR, Raman. But I realized at that moment, and in retrospect, that it took the passion out of stones for me, as it didn't provide me with the application that I was looking for. I didn't see how this was going to apply to how I wanted to apply, um, you know, what I was going to learn to how I was going to use it in business. And that a big part of that was that my teachers, which were great in their expertise, they didn't have the field experience. So after I graduated, I drifted away from gemology and didn't really know how I was going to gain that knowledge and experience, which you can only really get through being in the trade and in the field. And I reached out to many people. I reached out to, old, dinosaurs. Farooq mentioned some of the people that, like Gary Bowersox, he was someone who gave me a lot of time. And you mentioned he's like a dinosaur in the trade. There were many other people. I think I probably reached out to around 100 people, and there were only a handful that got back to me, and Farooq was one of them. And alhamdulillah, it was a good experience. A few years later, after getting to know him, we did a few podcasts, which I'll have to put out on here, which are many years old, around 3 years old. But yeah, I met Farooq in Thailand, and we traveled to Sri Lanka, which you've seen the documentaries, and it was a great experience. And I've not found anyone else who is like Farooq in the trade or as a human being, in terms of how open he is to share knowledge in regards to his business, and also just open-hearted. So for me, this is going to be a perspective of a student, and Farooq doesn't like this, but I kind of put his twist as like he's the master. So you're going to see kind of the perspective of me learning from Farooq over the years, and see my growth in this field and as a human being. So yeah, that's enough for me. But Farooq, can you give an introduction to yourself? Make it as detailed as you like. I think the longer the better, because we can do this once, and then whatever content we put out, it can be.
Oh, I gotta take this British guy with me all around the world now. So, a little bit of my background. I'll give it to you so you can appreciate how someone like me really is a unicorn and a tremendous asset in our field. So, ethnically, from the backdrop, or I guess nationally, my mother is Tanzanian. She was born in Tanzania. My family, from my mother's side, traces its history to well over 100 years, from what I understand, in Tanzania. And she's originally from what at that time was Hindustan, prior to the partitionment of it into India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and whatnot. And my father was born in what today is India, in Jalandhar, And post-partitionment, when Pakistan was separated from Hindustan and India was created also, he migrated over, he was forced to migrate over to what became Pakistan. So these are two regions that are really at the epicenter of production when it comes to gem resources in the world. Pakistan, is the central market for Pakistan itself, but as well as Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and some other surrounding countries. And Peshawar has become the epicenter of Pakistan, where the industry is probably at its greatest. And it is evolving at a rate that's probably outdone anything that I've seen in my lifetime. From my mother's side, Tanzania doesn't need any introduction, but I think everyone already understands how vital it is to our industry for so many different stones. And the neighboring countries also produce, a tremendous array of stones that find their way to the Tanzanian market or the Kenyan market. And I kind of transverse both of them. So with that backdrop, and also with the backdrop of a grandfather that was in this industry for decades, and his background was predominantly from Burma or Myanmar, all the way going through Thailand, Indonesia, into Japan. So it's just a different section of the world that's also very vital to our industry. I just unfortunately never received too much exposure from him, as he had passed away when I was very young. But that blood definitely did carry on, and I have I have an insatiable appetite for anything related to the world of stones. So I have used this background and my love and passion for stones to travel the world, everywhere from Congo, Nigeria, Colombia, to Afghanistan, India, Thailand, and God knows how many places in between. And with this backdrop, I also have my formal education during my misspent youth, shall I say, where I studied political science and law at an undergraduate level, and ultimately worked as a paralegal after graduating for a period of time while I simultaneously worked in the stone sector. So this kind of gives you a backdrop a bit about me. And a lot of what I do is kind of a balance. I have to provide for my family and do the best that I can for them. And my family is not just my immediate family, but it's a lot of brothers and sisters that I've encountered in my life that I work with in one capacity or another, while at the same time trying to illuminate a path for those like Saad and others who are interested in learning about what I do and our field. There really is no course or no educational program that can teach you what someone like me has acquired as far as formal education. The only real way to become what I have is from actual field experience and from traveling the world. One can do this in the capacity as an employee working for, whatever NGO or association or institute one may choose. And the alternative to this, which is the more common variant, is being an entrepreneur and chasing the rocks. So you're going to get to see it from my perspective, where I have built this world around me through my adventures and travels, and I have developed a tremendous network of brothers and sisters that allow me to bring you guys all these amazing things that God has provided us with. Stay tuned.